Today everyone wants to eat healthy, right? We're tracking our steps, optimizing our sleep, we're trying to fuel up the right way. But in today's explainer, we're unpacking a pretty stark reality. Very few people actually know what is inside their food. We live in a world that is just completely saturated with confusing nutrition labels and misleading marketing. But one disruptive brand decided to completely change the game. This is the story of NUTRABAR, a company that basically stripped away all the nonsense and brought radical transparency to the fitness industry.
So let me ask you, do you really know what's inside your food? Like, actually? It's an honest question. Because, look, recently the fitness industry has just exploded at an absolutely unprecedented pace. People everywhere are caring deeply about their protein intake, their general health, and just cultivating better, more active lifestyles. The demand for good fuel has literally never been higher. But beneath the surface of this massive health movement lies a major, glaring problem. Nutrition remains deeply and almost intentionally confusing. You walk down a supermarket aisle, you pick up this beautifully packaged snack promising you health and vitality, you flip it over, and boom, you're met with a paragraph of unpronounceable text. It's incredibly frustrating.
And when you actually break down that unpronounceable text, the reality is shocking. Most of these so-called healthy products are actually packed with deceiving elements. We are talking about hidden sugars, cleverly disguised under really complicated chemical names. Artificial ingredients that are synthesized for one reason, to cut manufacturing costs. Preservatives designed to keep things sitting indefinitely on warehouse shelves. And honestly, worst of all, the fake health claims. Those clever marketing buzzwords that legally mean almost nothing, but they trick you into thinking you're making a good choice. People desperately wanted clean nutrition, but they found themselves completely unsure of who to trust in an industry that honestly felt totally rigged against them.
So we're looking at a massive, glaring disconnect here. On one side, look at what we actually want. We want clean nutrition, real health benefits, and high-quality fuel for better lifestyles. But then look at what the traditional industry actually delivers. Those hidden sugars, chemical preservatives, and artificial ingredients we just talked about. This was a massive friction point, just waiting to spark a revolution. The market was essentially begging for an alternative. Someone had to step up, cut through all that noise, and close this gap.
And, well, that brings us to the year 2025. This marks the starting point for NUTRABAR. Picture this, a small startup office, sketches of packaging pinned up on the walls, and a team of passionate people testing real protein ingredients on a table. They didn't launch with some massive bloated corporate budget. Instead, they started with one incredibly simple yet highly disruptive mission: to create nutrition products that were honest, clean, and ridiculously easy to understand. They guaranteed absolutely no fake promises, no smoke and mirrors, just real nutrition for real people.
They actually established a golden rule on day one. If customers cannot understand the ingredients, it shouldn't be inside the product. It sounds so simple, right? Almost painfully obvious. But in the modern food industry, this is actually a radically defiant philosophy. NUTRABAR entirely rejected those complicated, highly processed ingredients that all their corporate competitors were relying on. They deliberately chose to formulate their foods so that a normal person without a degree in chemistry could read the back of the package and know exactly what they were putting into their body.
And that strict philosophy, it birthed an incredible lineup of fuel. NUTRABAR focused intensely on combining top-tier performance with complete simplicity across all their offerings. Their protein bars are made with actual, real ingredients you can see and taste. Their protein powders are engineered for clean muscle recovery, completely avoiding that typical bloating caused by cheap fillers. They even tackled sweet cravings with healthy protein chocolates, delivering that indulgence people crave, but with drastically less sugar and genuinely better nutrition. And their ready-to-drink protein shakes? Those provide everyday energy without the inevitable crash. NUTRABAR realized early on that they weren't just selling snacks and powders. With every single clean label, they were building a foundation of trust.
Instead of following the traditional playbook, NUTRABAR just entirely bypassed it. While traditional legacy brands were out there spending millions, sometimes billions, on massive television campaigns and flashy celebrity endorsements just to shout over the noise, NUTRABAR took the exact opposite approach. They grew almost entirely through community, social media, and honest storytelling. They connected directly with fitness creators, localized gym communities, and a highly skeptical Gen Z consumer base. They simply opened up their manufacturing process, showed the world their raw ingredients, and let absolute transparency do the heavy lifting for them.
Ultimately, this whole thing boils down to one simple concept: trust over protein. Yes, of course, they made an incredibly high-quality, delicious protein product, but let's be real, you can buy protein anywhere.
What made this brand skyrocket was the psychological shift they created in their consumers. People didn't just buy NutraBar for the macronutrients. They bought it because they fundamentally trusted the brand behind it. In an era where we feel constantly marketed to and, frankly, deceived, pure authenticity became NutraBar's most valuable ingredient. They proved that if you actually respect the consumer's intelligence, they are going to reward you with unparalleled loyalty.
Today, NutraBar represents so much more than just the nutrition inside the wrapper. They've evolved into a symbol of discipline, of pushing your limits and demanding the absolute best for your body. They represent high performance, not just in the gym, but in the boardroom, in the studio, and just in everyday life. They are actively redefining modern healthy living. Their vision for the future isn't just about dominating some market segment. It's about creating a reality where healthy food is universally honest, effortlessly accessible, and implicitly trusted by everyone.
When we zoom out from all of this, we arrive at a really profound realization. Real strength doesn't come from shortcuts. It doesn't come from chemical additives, quick fixes, or deceptive marketing claims that promise you the world overnight. True, enduring strength, both physical and mental, comes from consistency. It comes from making the right choices day in and day out, and from knowing exactly what you are using to power your ambitions. It comes from what fuels you every single day.
And that right there is the absolute essence of NutraBar. Fuel your truth. It is a wonderfully simple yet incredibly powerful tagline. It's a rallying cry for modern living. It's an invitation to stop accepting the industry standard of confusion and compromise and to start demanding fuel that aligns perfectly with your personal goals and your personal integrity. It's not taking control back from a convoluted food system and fueling your authentic self with absolute clarity.
Which leaves us right here at the end of our journey today, looking at your own daily choices. We've seen how a single brand disrupted an entire industry just by deciding to be radically honest. But the real application of this explainer rests with you. Take a look at your own habits, your own pantry, your own lifestyle. Look past the marketing and look at the reality of what you are actually consuming. So, I'll leave you with this. What is fueling your truth today?